The Screen Team is back. It's our final segment, and we are doing movies about romance in the time travel genre. So we've done Kate and Leopold. We've also done The Lake House, and we're going to finish things up with Somewhere in Time. This film came out in 1980. It was starring Christopher Reeve, Jane Seymour, and Christopher Plummer. Toby, let's talk about this film. Why did you want to pick this one?
This, to me, is one of the time travel romance movies that kind of started it all. I guess, we had seen Christopher Reeve as Superman.
Yeah. And
for him to step out as an actor. Of course, we were talking about being typecast earlier.
Yeah.
Christopher Reeve, he started in The Edge of Night. He was on the soap opera. And
really? I didn't know that.
That was his first step out, and he had been in theater for years. Mm-hmm. So Superman was kind of a role for him that he normally didn't play. This was more of a role that he was set out to play, but we didn't see him as that until then.
Yeah.
Jane Seymour, of course, she was known as a Bond girl at that point.
And then Dr. Quinn.
Quinn. She hadn't done Dr. Quinn at this point. So, and of course, Christopher Plummer, we all knew him as a classical actor, and for them to set this the way they did, Richard Matheson wrote a great screenplay and put all these elements together, and did kind of have a little bit of science behind it with self-hypnosis and sending yourself back and falling in love with a portrait.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was a lot. All three of these movies have special instances with the time travel. With other time travel movies, there's some sort of scientific, contraption or a car or something like that. A time machine, and each one of these have a very unique way of telling
how it could happen.
And I thought that was very, very clever and very original. And I thought the way that Christopher Reeves goes back in time, it was very original and unique. In this film, he kind of wills himself. Right. I'm going to go back to this time. I am this person, and he does.
He puts on the outfit. He gets the suit made. Sets himself into the right hotel room in Mackinac Island at the Grand Hotel. Stares at the spinning, was it a quarter or a dime or something, and puts himself into self-hypnosis. But he actually falls in love with Elise, with a portrait of Elise, who was an actress in 1912 that had performed at the Grand Hotel. And he is, like you said, wills himself. He is going to meet her. And he does.
You mentioned the suit, and one of the running jokes in this film is he bought a suit before he went back in time, and I guess it was 10 years too early.
15. It was actually 15.
Early, too early, and everyone was making fun of him, like, where'd you get that suit, man?
What is that? What are you wearing there?
But I look so good in it.
Tonica, what did you think?
I loved the movie. I was kind of raised on the movie because my grandmother had to see it, my mom, and we're from Michigan, so that makes sense. So I just loved the movie, and I think he was an excellent actor because he played the part so well, and he was so into it. That was very believable that he was actually doing it,
Yeah.
So
you had mentioned off mic that you had been to this location.
Like every summer, we went up there, and last year I went up. So
it's a beautiful hotel.
I mean, but they don't allow cars. So to see cars there, you kind of laugh about it and everything.
Yeah,
but
they got special permission to have cars.
But the carpet's still the same, I tell you.
Really?
Yes.
Out of all three of these movies, this one's my favorite.
I can see why.
Yeah.
I can see why.
Because I think it has to do with the cast mainly, because I love Christopher Reeve. He is so charming in this film. He's got a goofiness which I can relate
to that, can't you?
But this movie is funny. It's also I'm not saying this in a bad way. It's cheesy.
It is, but in a good way.
In a good way, I mean, and I like Jane Seymour. This is my favorite out of the three.
And I discovered the music of Rachmaninoff through this movie.
Oh, really?
I'd never really gotten. I mean, I listened to classical music. Don't get me wrong. I fell in love with Rachmaninoff after this.
Yeah.
Because that was such a love theme, and did they write that for the movie? No, that was one that they just pulled up, and I discovered the music from there. So it's one of those movies, like you said, I grew up with it. It was I was in high school when it came out, and it was just I love the romance of it.
I'm treading on thin water with this next comment, but I'm kind of curious.
Go for it.
You had mentioned. Well, I don't want to give anything away, but you had mentioned that you don't like movies that don't have a happy ending.
I need a happy ending.
What did you think about the ending of this one? Because it's borderline to me.
It's borderline, but he still loved her, and their love still transcended time. I'll just put it that way.
Okay.
It transcended time.
That wasn't the original ending. In case you wanted to know, they had to add something to it because that wasn't the original ending. Because the first people that saw it during the original screenings were mad and threw their drinks and everything. I'm serious, they did.
Okay, there was
they had to change the ending. So yeah, I wouldn't have known that. My mom told me that.
But like it wasn't the typical happy ending we were talking about.
Yeah.
But to me, their love transcended that. They were still together at the end.
Yeah.
We have Christopher Plummer in this film for the second time in this show.
He's the villain in this one, in a way.
Yeah. He was really close to Jane Seymour's character. I guess he was like her agent or something like that.
Yes, but he was in love with her too. But
why didn't he make a move? What was he waiting on?
I don't know if it was love. It was more like a convenience of, I'm going to check this off,
Yeah, he didn't want her to mess
That's
up
where
her
his
career.
money's coming from, too.
Yeah.
But I still think he had a thing for her.
Yeah.
He should have made the move, man.
He should have, but he didn't want to mess up a good thing, too.
That's true. I mean, that's a good point.
He had a paycheck coming in.
Yeah. Christopher Reeve, Jane Seymour. The film is called Somewhere in Time.
Love the costumes.
Yeah, the costumes.
Beautiful
the setting was
costumes.
was great.
Yeah. Very authentic.
I want to kind of, I don't want to say warn, but out of all three of the movies, this one definitely is a chick film. And I'm telling that to our guy listeners right now, because I don't think a lot of guys are going to dig this movie like they probably would with a Kate Leopold or a Lake House, because you have you've got Hugh Jackman, who's
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Where this one, I don't know if the guys are going to get into this one as much as
Probably not, but
the
take
other
your women
two.
to see it.
Hey,
Yeah.
right. I like the way you think. All right, time travel love movies, ladies. Thank you so much for the show.
Glad to.
It was a lot of fun.
I love it.
Can't wait to have both of you guys back on the Screen Team very, very soon. We're going to be back next week for a full hour of movies. My goodness, we have got a plethora of movies for you. We're going to be reviewing movies like Cannonball Run with Burt Reynolds.
Oh, good one.
We're also going to be reviewing Trainwreck with Amy Schumer. The Hateful Eight.
I saw that.
We're also going to... You saw it?
I saw it.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Giddy up, man.
I did.
I got to get your thoughts on it once we get off mic here. We're also going to be reviewing Three from Jimmy Hickson, Silverado with Kevin Kline and Danny Glover back from the 80s. What else? Also The Revenant and Bone Tomahawk. I don't think I was going to remember all those, but we got 6 films tomorrow, or next week, next Saturday, for Toby, Tonica, and Chris. We are the Screen Team on Today's Talk 930 KWOC.